GolfNewsRI presents the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes.
All right, hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Golf Dudes Podcast. At the time of this taping, Andrew O'Leary is making a run in stage one of PGA Tour Q-School. We'll get to that. We also have tri-state matches to recap. The women's tri-state matches are going on as we speak at the time of this taping. It's pretty close, and a few other things as well. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. Obviously, I'm Joe Calabro. Hope you're all having a great week. Getting geared up for another weekend, hopefully of golf for some of you. And so that's where we are. So let's get to it. I guess as we led off the show with Andrew O'Leary making a run at stage one of Q-School right now out in Oklahoma. He was started the day at 4 over. As we are taping right now, he is even par for the tournament. Right now, the cut is 1 under, and he's through at this time of this taping. He is through 9. So big run for Andrew. It wasn't looking too good the first 2 rounds, but right now it looks very good. If he can keep it going, even if he goes into tomorrow 1 shot back, even tomorrow meaning Friday 1 shot back, that's not terrible. So big run for Andrew O'Leary again. First 2 days he was 4 over. The cut was 1 under. Top 20 in ties, advanced to stage 2 of PGA Tour Q-School, and he's making a run right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. Of course, we are keeping an eye on that, of course, all week long. And you can check out GolfNewsRI.com for all the insights and obviously the updates with scoring links and everything else. While you're there, you can also buy one of these cool sweatshirts. It is sweatshirt season. Visit our pro shop. Shameless plug there. So that's what we have going on. He is through 9 right now as we tape this, and it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He has he started on the back 9. So he has birdies on 10, 14, 15, 16, and 18 against the bogey on 12. He's turning out to the front 9, and he's now in tie for 27th. And again, top 20 in ties made the cut. 1 under at this moment is the cut for stage 2 of PGA Tour Q-School. Chris Francoeur and Will Dixon are both starting their Q-School journeys next week. Of course, Chris played on PGA Tour Canada, so he has some stability as far as a job for the 2024 season, but obviously trying to improve and get on to maybe gets the PGA Tour, maybe gets the Korn Ferry Tour berth, whatever it may be. And Will Dixon is looking to get off the mini tours and get into the Korn Ferry Tour after what's been a rough year for him as far as results go. So those next week, we'll have coverage of that for you as well on GolfNewsRI.com. But right now, it's all about Andrew O'Leary, and he's making a big run. Again, the first 2 days didn't start off well. I was like, oh no, don't tell me, he's gonna lose in the first stage, because then you have to wait a whole another year. With obviously you can do Monday cues and things of that nature, but it seems like he's found his game. He told me, he said he thought the course set up for him well. It didn't look that way the first 2 days, but it sure looks that way now. So we'll have the recap up on GolfNewsRI.com, of course, as we track Andrew's journey through PGA Tour Q-School. So that's the biggest thing that we're watching for now and for the rest of the weekend. Of course, the other thing that happened this week was the tri-state matches. Rhode Island finished 3rd for the 2nd straight year, losing to Connecticut and Massachusetts. Connecticut actually won the tri-state matches for the first time in several years. The tournament was at Wampanoag Country Club in Connecticut, in West Hartford, Connecticut, which is actually where I went to school, West Hartford, University of Hartford. It was not great. It wasn't. They lost to Connecticut by 44 points, which is they were behind Massachusetts by like 28 or something like that. Not obviously Rhode Island has struggled in that tournament. They haven't won it since 2001. There's obviously a reason for that. Massachusetts is good. Connecticut is good. They all have good players. But Rhode Island has good players too. And to lose by 44 points. I don't know if Massachusetts and Connecticut are are 44 points better than Rhode Island, but that's the way it broke out. That's the way it played out. That's the way it's been playing out in the tri-state matches over the last handful of years. I mean, in 2021, Rhode Island had a 3-point lead going to the final round, or the final day rather, and obviously lost. But that was about as competitive as it's been in a while. And the last couple of years, last 2 years, haven't really, including this year, haven't really been competitive. So, I'm not sure what the deal is. I've talked to a couple of people, one who's played in it in the past, another who has been involved with it, and they say it's tough competition, which obviously it is, but 44 points, it's a lot to lose by. So that was unfortunate. We'll see how the women do today in the tri-state matches at Wanamatanami. And it's coming down to, seems like it's coming down to the wire. So we'll have a recap of that when those matches end. There was a singles portion of it the last couple of days. Now today is more of a team oriented portion. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, tough showing for Rhode Island in the tri-state matches. Again, I don't know necessarily all the answers or what it is. If guys aren't taking it seriously, that's one thing I've heard. I don't know that to be true. It seems like the guys take it seriously. Everybody's excited to play, but I just think lose by 44 points is kind of crazy. But and Massachusetts has good players, and Connecticut has good players. So but I don't know. That seems like a lot. But hey, maybe they'll win it next year. They'll come back and win it next year. So, but yeah, so we had that recap up this week. And I mean, it seems like a fun event. It seems like a cool event. Everyone says they get treated well, and it's like a Ryder Cup style thing. So, be nice to see Rhode Island win one of these and kind of break the streak and help boost Rhode Island golf. That's kind of I think that's what we're all rooting for. So maybe tweaks are in order or changes, or I don't know. This is the ins and outs. I know guys qualify for it, similar to a Ryder Cup type of thing. So we shall see. But tough loss for the Rhode Island Tri-State team this week up in Connecticut. And again, Connecticut won the tournament, beating Massachusetts. Connecticut actually beat Massachusetts by like 12 points themselves. So they obviously had a great showing playing at home. And so congrats to them. Massachusetts didn't win it for the first time. They had won 3 straight. This is the first time they've lost. I think they've won like 17 of the last 19 tri-state matches or something ridiculous like that. So obviously, again, good players on those teams as well. It's just disappointing to see Rhode Island lose by 44 points. This just seems like a lot. But on to next year for the tri-state matches. So that's some of the local stuff. What should be cool this weekend, and maybe I'll be up there for a little bit of it. Kirkbride is having an inter club Ryder Cup. There's 3 different teams. I'm not playing because my golf season mostly is over. But it should be interesting to see how it plays out. They're doing a draft on Friday night, which is probably going to be the coolest part of the whole thing, in my opinion. Who's the last pick? Who gets stuck with the last pick? That'll be the big question. That'll be what everyone's waiting for. So that could be interesting. It's Saturday. The draft is Friday night. The thing is Saturday, Sunday. So it'll be entertaining nonetheless. But I'm not playing. But it'll be entertaining anyway. So that's what we have going on. A couple of things coming up on GolfNewsRI.com. Again, you want to stay tuned for Andrew O'Leary, to follow Andrew O'Leary and see if he advances to stage 2. Will Dixon and Chris Francora start off their stage 1 of Q-School next week. And then what we have coming up, I was hoping to get it up over the weekend, but I need some time to write it and research. Is GolfNewsRI is diving into the indoor golf game. Indoor golf is growing rapidly. Obviously, we just signed, as many of you saw, Inside Links as an advertiser. They are launching their leagues in a couple of weeks. We have some other stuff going on with them as well coming up, so stay tuned for that. But we're trying to get into the indoor game, and so we're hoping to, over the next couple of days, well, I'm not hoping to, I am, over the next couple of days, we have a big story coming up detailing the rise of indoor golf in Rhode Island. It's pretty fascinating. I've talked to a lot of these business owners. It's a pretty interesting story. I'm excited to write it. Like I said, I've talked to all these people over the last few days, put some quotes together, and put an article together just detailing the rise of indoor golf. I mean, GolfNewsRI launched in April of 2020, and then that next January, I believe, X Golf at Lincoln Mall opened. And since then, there's been 5 or 6, 7 other places opening across the state with indoor simulators, amazing technology, and all the bells and whistles that you could possibly have. So it's been pretty interesting to see that business grow, and GolfNewsRI needs to be involved in it in some way, shape, or form. So we're hoping to be able to do this story that's coming out early next week. Again, I was hoping for the weekend. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. So early next week, and then we're hoping to be able to post some league results from these indoor facilities, give them some love, give people that play there some love. It'd be made very clear that it's indoor golf, so no one's going to mistake it for actually going out there and playing. But so that's what we're hoping to do during the winter to help with content over the winter. Obviously, things kind of slow down a little bit. And so we're hoping to do some of that. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be your home for indoor golf coverage as well. So that'll be exciting. That'll be exciting there. Earlier this week, I got to play Juan Moisa, did a course review, kind of paid tribute to Juan Moisa and to my uncle in a lot of ways. So that was awesome. I played it for the Brick Fund, donate to the Brick Fund, the Brick Scholarship Fund. The link is in the article if you want to find out more information or to donate. So, but Juan Moisa was amazing. Not a piece of grass out of place. Everyone says, Newport is always going to be #1 in the state because of the history. Shelter Harbor clearly is on the rise. I've only played Shelter Harbor once years ago, and it was spectacular. But my favorite place to play is Juan Moisa. I just love going there. It's hard, obviously, but I just enjoy playing there for numerous reasons. And so that's my place. So check out the course review. By the way, if you haven't checked out our course review section in a while, and I don't blame you, because we still need to do a better job of doing more reviews or making it easier for people to submit reviews. But I will say, over the last 2 weeks or so, maybe a little more, the course review section of our website has been banging. We've had reviews, and we have more coming up. In fact, within the next couple of days, we're supposed to get more in. I wrote the Juan Moisa one, of course. We have somebody that submits reviews to us on the other ones, and we have more coming in from him. The last 2 weeks have been great content, of course, reviews. So check that section out. Scroll through. Again, obviously the season is coming to an end. You want to know what courses look like, what are good places to play, and so that's pretty much what that course review section is meant to be for the most part. And that is what so far that's what it's been. So we have some pretty good stuff. We have obviously the private courses in nice places, but we also have great courses that you can play, like Crystal Lake and other places of that nature. So check the course review section out. It's as good as it's been in a while. Again, I'm still playing around with how to make it easier or better to submit reviews for just everybody. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, I gotta give credit over the last 2 weeks plus or so. The review section has been banging. So check that out if you're looking to go play, or you're looking to see what courses are doing what across the state and kind of the region as well. So definitely check those out for sure. As we update, where are we here? Checking the leaderboard. He's still through. Andrew Larry is still through 9. So there's that. So again, we're following Andrew Larry in stage 1 of PGA Tour Q-School out in Oklahoma. Will Dixon and Christopher Encore start next week. We talked a little bit about the tri-state matches. The women's tri-state matches are going on as we speak. The men's team finished third and lost to Connecticut by 44 points. And so on to, I guess, the winless streak will extend at least one more year. So there is that. So the other big story was this week on a pro level was obviously LIV Golf not getting world rankings. I was a little surprised, and but not. No, I actually wasn't surprised. I wasn't really surprised at all. I did think they had a chance to get them, but I wasn't surprised that they didn't get them. And we'll get more into that and then wrap up the show next here on the Golf Dudes podcast. Billy Andre joins the show. Billy, thanks so much for doing this, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm very excited to be joined by an 11-time Emmy Award winner, and that is Armin Katayan.
Massachusetts Women's Amateur Champion Allison Paik.
The days of the country club just being golf and maybe one amenity are gone. Unfortunately, Metacomet doesn't have those.
He has a very rare condition called kyphoscoliotic Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And at the time of diagnosis, there was only 60 documented cases in the world.
When we legitimately played the last 4 holes at Newport National, you could not see 50 yards.
All right, welcome back to this episode of the Golf Dudes podcast. Big story in the pro golf world this week, of course, was LIV Golf not getting world ranking points. They were denied by the official world golf rankings due to not, meeting qualifications, basically. In a statement, if I can find it quickly. In a statement, Peter Dawson, who's the chairman of the WGR, said, "We are not at war with them. This decision not to make them eligible is not political. It is entirely technical. LIV players are self-evidently good enough to be ranked. They're just not playing in a format where they can be ranked equitably with the other 24 tours and thousands of players trying to compete with them." So basically, LIV Golf just didn't meet the qualifications of the official world golf rankings. So I was not surprised. I did think there was a chance they could get them, but I wasn't surprised that they didn't. I do think they need to find a way to give them some sort of ranking. These guys, Peter Walsh commented on our post, which I thought was an interesting point. Give them 3/4 of a point or something. Give them, since they only play 54 holes, or they kind of is a team event. The tough part is, I think, is just the team event. So, are you playing for a team or you're playing for yourself? If you're playing to get your team score, then obviously in theory, you're going to play different than you're just playing by yourself. You're going to hit different shots. You're going to protect the lead, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's the biggest challenge that LIV is going to have. And with the official world golf rankings, I think if it was just straight golf, then I think they'd be all right. But the team thing, the team aspect kind of changes players' minds, changes players' game plan strategies. So I think that's the challenge that they're going to have. But given that LIV is set to merge with the PGA Tour eventually, at some point, whenever that comes to fruition, excuse me, at least that's what's in the plans, it may not matter too much, really, in the long run. For now, it matters. Because it's going to matter for guys to get into the majors, guys to get into different, things. Well, mostly the majors now for the LIV guys. So that's going to matter. But I mean, Brooks Koepka is exempt. DeChambeau should be exempt. Cam Smith should be exempt for a while anyway. So, but it could get interesting. But again, with this coming merger, eventual merger, whenever that goes final, the world ranking thing may not really matter that much. I think it does hurt the world rankings with these guys not getting points. Clearly, Brooks Koepka is one of the best players in the world. Clearly, Cam Smith is one of the best players in the world. Same for DJ, though he hasn't played that well. He didn't play that well this year. And same for others. So it it does kind of make the world golf rankings a little fraudulent. But again, I think that's the team aspect of LIV really kind of hurt them from the world rankings perspective. So it will be interesting to see what happens. LIV is playing this week in Jeddah, so we'll keep an eye on that. It's always interesting to watch. Anyways, I do think they need to build up the branding for the teams a little bit, because that needs some work. So that is where we are in the Pro Golf PGA Tour. I think it's the Shriners Open this week. I think it's the Shriners Open is this week. Lexi Thompson from the LPGA Tour is playing, so I guess it'll be somewhat entertaining, anyways. So that's what's going on in the golf world. Again, we're keeping an eye on Andrew O'Leary. It's Q-School time. It's fascinating to watch. Obviously, when you have a rooting interest, it's very stressful. But overall, it's fascinating golf to watch. The final round of the Korn Ferry Tour Championship was fascinating to watch. Congrats to Patrick and Davis for clinching their Korn Ferry Tour card for next season. That was the main priority. Now they can kind of relax and just play and try to get into that top 30 for next year to get onto the PGA Tour. It will be interesting to see if either of them or both play Q-School. They have the option to do that. They qualified for kind of an automatic bye, if you will, to get into the second stage and basically just go at a chance to get their PGA Tour cards. The top 5 in ties get your PGA Tour card after the final stage of Q-School. So obviously they have a ways to go. If they had finished just a little bit better on the points list, they would have gotten a bye into the final stage of Q-School. But they weren't able to make that happen. So it will be interesting to see if they play in Q-School at all. They have an option. Given they still have a ways to go. They got to get through second stage. They got to get obviously through final stage. I'm not sure what their plan is. They may just take the Korn Ferry Tour card for next season and be done with it. But it will be interesting. I'll be checking the rosters and see if they end up playing. They have nothing to lose, right? They already have their Korn Ferry Tour cards. You can't lose the Korn Ferry Tour card in this particular setting. So it could be something to watch for. See if they just play for fun, quote unquote, and try to make a run at it, or if they just relax. And you may see them in Monday qualifiers for PGA Tour events and things of that nature. So it will be interesting to watch for sure. But we'll be keeping an eye on all of that again next week. Hopefully Monday or Tuesday, we'll have a big article on the rise of indoor golf in Rhode Island. And so we have great interviews with there. So check that out. And obviously we'll keep track of Korn Ferry Tour, of a PGA Tour Q-School, and everyone playing in that as well. So thanks to everyone for tuning in. Hope you all have a great weekend. Good luck to everyone who's whacking the ball around this weekend. And we will talk to you next week on the Golf Dudes podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.